And NASCAR says that every situation is unique, but in this case, there was significant enough concerns that due to the aggressive nature of the race, speeding and banging, and the potential for mechanical failures, we wanted to discuss with Noah and look at the race car to ensure there was nothing mechanical that may have led on to the incident. Obviously, nothing was wrong with the car, and it was clear that it was intentional. Parking the nine during the event was an option, but we felt that more information was needed before making a decision on any disciplinary measures. So statement right there from NASCAR explaining why they decided not to park Gregson during the race. Ben, do you agree with NASCAR about needing more information to park Gregson, or was his intent obvious based on all of the replays? Will this penalty send a message, or would a one race suspension be more effective?
I mean, it said it in the statement there. Obviously, it was intentional. If it was obvious to you after the fact, why was it not obvious when it happened? It was obvious to all of us watching it. I just don't understand what happened here. And, Josh and I talked about this on Monday night as well. And Kobe, we were just talking about Yuri Vips getting a slap on the wrist. This is even less than that. This is a fine that Gregson probably isn't going to have to pay for out of pocket himself with his sponsors and his team and everything. And the points penalty is essentially going to be erased when we get to the playoffs anyway. So I don't know what kind of message that's going to send here. I think absolutely at the bare minimum, Gregson should have been parked. I know you were saying that in the chat room Monday night as well. He should have been parked on the spot and potentially even suspended for a race weekend or two. And like I said on Monday night, it's not unprecedented. We saw it happen to Kyle Busch in 2011 when he took out Hornaday. We saw it happen to Matt Kenseth in 2015 when he took out Logano. And in those instances, it was just one driver, the driver that those respective drivers wanted to take out. In Gregson's case, he took out Sage Karam, and a half dozen cars were destroyed. A dozen cars were involved in some way, and it created an entire mess and ruined a lot of good days for a lot of good race teams. And there were concerns that drivers might have been hurt. The safety crew, I still cannot believe that the safety team took that long to get over to Brandon Brown, and all credit to Myatt Snyder for going to check in on him. I just don't think that this sends a message suitable for Gragson, especially considering, this isn't like a first offense, if you will. Gragson has gotten involved in some hot water before for on-track disputes and things like that. So I'm afraid that, to me, to issue a statement, what are we now, 4 days out from the Saturday Xfinity race here? I just think it would have been better to send a message there on the spot. It probably would have come across more clearly to Gragson, and I hope that Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kelly Earnhardt sit down with him and explain why this isn't acceptable behavior. I'm glad Junior came out and mentioned that it was tough to watch, because I certainly, Tommy Joe Martins even said it in his tweet. You wouldn't want to be a car owner watching your driver do something like that. So I think hopefully Gragson can take a step back, recognize that this was certainly a step too far and it can't happen again. But, again, it's not unprecedented for NASCAR to issue such penalties, and I am very surprised that it took them this long to do so.
Another situation, and I believe it was 2019 Iowa Speedway. Johnny Sauter got suspended after wrecking Austin Hill out of that race. So it's not unprecedented for NASCAR to suspend drivers for incidents and taking things too far, where it becomes a major safety issue. As I said on Monday night in the Grid Live Encore chat, I feel like if they would have parked Gregson, that would have sent a strong message enough. But by deciding not to do it, I'm not sure how you can say, yeah, you needed more information. You didn't know it was intentional. Like, that doesn't really make any sense. Like, if you see a driver, jerk the wheel right on the straight, like, what do you think is going on, especially after they were just beating and banging, and he finished in the top 10, for crying out loud. If the car was broken, he wouldn't have finished that high.